Hi guys, this is Daddy Ken, weekly check-in. Going to go over how things went, pros and cons, ideas for the future. So let's start off with number one. What was the habit that I wanted to focus on in the last week? Basically, the most important habit for me at the point where I am is making good carb choices. I'm trying to gain lean muscle while keeping the fat level low. And so my goal is to be involved with carb cycling, where I eat the right types of carbs at the right point of time. As you already know, on Boss's Day, I had some very kind coworkers who brought me lots of sweets, homemade goods, homemade carbohydrate dishes of the bad carb type, and I indulged, and I didn't do a good job on that one day, and also it impacted on how I worked out for the day and how I felt the rest of the day. But I'm pleased to say that for the remainder of the week, I planned my meals well, made very good choices, um, kept up with my exercises, and I'll talk a little bit more about my exercises in a minute or so. Also, some of my friends decided to throw me a pre-birthday party on Saturday. My birthday is tomorrow, Monday, the 21st. I'll be 65. And some of my Thai friends who have been very familiar with my lean eating over the last couple of years made me a very healthy, very nutritionally sound meal with lots of vegetables for me to choose from, and it was really quite good, and I really didn't have to cheat at all. But there were some friends, some new people who were invited to the party to become new friends for me, who didn't know about my habits, and they brought really tempting items like one of the Mexican tres leches, three milks cakes that are very, very sweet, very high carb, and I sampled a very small bite of those particular items. But it also actually, one of my friends who was there, who knows me very well, said you need to become Facebook friends with Ken and see how buff he is, and learn more about his story. And so I actually used part of the party to talk about lean eating and my experience with lean eating and my experience with Scrawny to Brawny, and talk about the choices that I make and why I make the choices that I make. And I also talked about how participating in lean eating has completely changed my medical profile, my lab reports, and how it's gotten me off of cholesterol meds, how it's gotten me off of blood pressure meds. I've been able to retire the CPAP machine and no longer have sleep apnea. How even though I am diabetic, and I will be diabetic for the rest of my life, I don't have high blood sugar except on Boss's Day. And anyway, the interesting thing was that some of the people, including the people who brought some of the really sweet desserts, the wives were looking at the husbands and saying, maybe you ought to look into this too. If it works for him, and you're a lot younger than he is, so maybe you ought to give it a try. So I hope that even participating in a birthday party or pre-birthday party that wasn't absolutely perfect, that maybe it influenced some people to eat more healthily and maybe to get out and do some exercises. On the exercise front, I'll go ahead and mention that my trainer is engaging me in some very intense training over the next 10 weeks, hypertrophic training, very extremely high intense activity. Some of it has some heavy lifting, but that's not really what the program is primarily about. Most of it is about um, a series of consecutive exercises without rest that will really cause me to get shredded over the next 10 weeks. And then I can do some additional strength training to get ready for, believe it or not, at the age of 65 at a bodybuilding contest or physique contest. And I'll just give you an example of just what one day's exercises look like. So take me just a second to pull this up. But an example would be 4 sets of incline dumbbell presses, 10 reps, followed immediately by Bulgarian dumbbell squats, 12 reps per leg. Then, and that's repeated, like I say, 4 times. Then close grip pull downs, dumbbell forward reach lunges, and then lateral raises with dumbbells, 12 reps. Standing dumbbell presses, 12 reps. Barbell curls, 15 reps. Medicine ball diamond push-ups, 15 reps. And medicine ball vertical choppers, 20 reps. As you can imagine, when you think of doing those sequences one after another without rest, and then you take basically a minute to rest before you repeat the cycle, one gets really rather exhausted by the end of the session. And when I do that, then I do need carbs. I need starchy carbs and lots of protein to replenish my system. And one of the probably new experiences for me in doing this type of activity is that I do get sore. And fortunately, the foam rolling helps in dealing with the soreness. Getting some casein or cottage cheese before I go to bed in the evening helps with body repair. But basically what I'm doing is I'm physically ripping myself apart day after day and then rebuilding. And it requires good nutritional choices to support that. Reflecting, I think I probably pretty much shared that. Obviously, part of my reflection is don't let myself get suckered into making bad choices, or if I do, periodically, when people have gone out of their way to make something special for you, maybe it does make sense to taste what they brought to honor their gift to you, but then wipe the slate clean and move on, and also use it as a teaching experience. Maybe what would I do to adjust the habits? I think I'm doing a pretty good job of that. My birthday is Monday, and unfortunately the day is full of meetings, so there's not going to be any temptations on Monday. Tuesday, my staff are taking me out for a post-birthday lunch, and I've already looked at the menus, and I've gone through and set up 3 alternative choices that I might make for that lunch, so that I won't make the same mistakes that I made on Boss's Day. Strategies for the following week. Um, I've already got in the refrigerator right now what I'm taking to work tomorrow. As I indicated, I have business meetings tomorrow, but I already know what I'll eat for every single meal tomorrow. And it's all planned out and already packaged and ready to go. And so it should be pretty easy. My challenge shouldn't be too bad on Tuesday with the luncheon, and the rest of the week should be smooth sailing. Simply because of thinking through things and planning over the weekend, and also sometimes it helps to fall off the wagon, and that helps you develop real strong motivation to do better this in the coming week. Probably my last comment. Um, some of you I know are experiencing frustration with your pattern of fat loss. I will and I've already told you that right now I'm interested in gaining weight, but gaining lean muscle at the same time that I'm losing fat or keeping fat low. I can honestly say I cannot go by the weekly weigh-ins as far as whether I'm being successful. 2 weeks ago, in 1 week, I gained 8 pounds. Last week, I lost 6 pounds. I have to make my judgments based upon how I look, how I feel, and also by the trend line in the graphs. So even though my graphs are going up and down, up and down, up and down, what is important to me is if I'm looking at the lean eating concept would be, is my fat level going down? Not even specifically weight level, because if you're gaining lean muscle, your weight's going to go up, even if your fat's going down. But if my interest, which it is currently, is in gaining muscle, then I need to look at, is my lean muscle going up and my fat level staying stable, or my fat level going down? So it's not simply the issue of what I see when I go on the scales. And that may be premature for many of you at this point, but at some point in time, it will be an issue that you will want to pay attention to. Anyway, I wish you a good week. Take care now. Good night.